is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Hey, it's your boy Miguel G with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I have a guest for you, folks.
Yeah, that boy. Hey, man, shout out the Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We gonna shut the shit down. Love and respect, though, man. Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank you.
This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back again with your AEW Dynamite post-show review for February 7th, 2024. Welcome to the party, la-da-da-da. You see, this is going to be a three-man panel, and we're going to discuss it. And if you're in the chat, please feel free to join us. Make sure you vote in the poll. As you can see, it's super divided, so tonight's going to be a little bit fun. It's going to get a little bit exciting. It's going to get dirty and nitty and gritty because, well, there's a lot to say about tonight. But first, let's get in the introductions, starting off with the man, the myth, the legend.
Paulus, Clarke.
Oh, you know. And, of course, joining us tonight for a one-night showing, the New Japan Pro Wrestling expert, oh, you know, and you know me, on the big time, and I'm getting better, as you can tell. We're gonna light this party up like it's 1996. For sure. Or 97, somewhere in that block party. 98 even too, but hey. Anyways, AEW Dynamite on your Superstation tonight. Or, not the Superstation, the other station, but anyways. We started off with Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. This match was contested to see who would be the number one contender for the AEW World title, held by one Samoa Joe. This match got a 30-minute time limit. Why, I don't know, but we'll jump into this and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Anyways, we get a lock up to the corner. Ref breaks them up, breaks them apart. We get a hard slap from Page. Swerve with a double leg takedown. Page rolls over. They spill outside the ring. Swerve with something. I don't get these notes anymore. Whips sends Page over the barricade. Swerve runs and flies over the barricade with a splash onto Page. Swerve sends Page back into the ring. Page kicks the entering Swerve TO to the corner again, and Page hits some right hands. Huge chops from Page. Elbows to the back of the head. Whip to the ropes. Swerve grabs Page on the rebound, sends him into the ropes, and hits a high boot. Swerve corners Page again and gets some stomps. Swerve getting some major love from the crowd. Swerve meets Page in the middle. Page with a fallaway slam. Kip up. Swerve with a freaking headbutt to the jaw. Swerve corner Page. Snapmare out of it. Swerve for up to the second rope. Page is up quickly. He pulls the legs out. Right hand to Swerve. Swerve bites the fingers and gains wrist control. He climbs on the back for an octopus, but Page is able to break out. Elbows from Swerve. He flattens Page on the mat. Swerve hops on the back. Switches, pulls the wrist back, but Page locks his arm. Swerve drives his fist into the kidneys, but pulls back on the arm. Arm drag from Page. Swerve hops over Page to the corner, hops off with a lariat, misses, and rebounds with a right to the back of the head. Both men are outside. Page with an elbow to the head. He sends Swerve into the barricade hard. Page lifts Swerve and hits another fallaway slam on the outside. Back in the ring, and Page hits a hard chop to the chest. Swerve reverses, chop after chop. Page escapes and hits the ropes. Low kick, cover, 1, 2, no. Page lifts up Swerve. Swerve with some rights. He locks the head, lifts Page. Page floats over, locks the wrist, rolls up for a 1, 2, no. Swerve then shoots Page to the apron. Page looks for the buckshot lariat, but Swerve runs into it. He gets it over the top. Page tries for a moonsault, but Swerve steps aside. Flatliner. He runs into the ring. Swerve hits the ropes and dives over onto Page. Swerve on the top rope again. This time Page is in the ring. He flies with an uppercut to the back. Swerve whip to the ropes. Hang on to the hand and hits a chop. Then a tilt-a-world slam into a suplex. Swerve to the corner. He is hyped. He turns, runs. House call. 1, 2, a no. Swerve sits on Page on the top rope. He chops once, climbs. Page bites the face. Slams Swerve into the turnbuckle. Page tries for a sunset flip, but Swerve head scissors him down. Stands up, high kick, half in half, but Paige escapes. Powerbomb and a pin, 1 and 2 and no. Paige tries to end it, flip forward. Swerve rolls to the apron. Swerve with a buckshot lariat. Swerve stomp, 1, 2, and Swerve is pissed at this time. He pulls his belt to the apron. Paige is hanging his head on it. Swerve stands, runs for a kick, hits Paige in the chest. Swerve stands on the barricade, brings Paige up onto it. They set up for a power driver, but no, Paige hits a DDT on the barricade. We are back from break after not having a break for a long period of time, but we finally got a break, and both men are exchanging kicks like their phone numbers. Okay, that was a bad pun. Both men down. We are informed that Nana has set up a table outside. Anyways, Paige hits Swerve with a bunch of rights, but Swerve laughs them off. Paige shoves, hits a big boot, gets caught. Swerve ducks under and hits the backbreaker. Cover, 1, 2, no. Swerve shoves Paige off the top rope. He's stuck. Hanging towards the outside, Swerve to the top, stomp to Paige's chest. He rolls off the apron onto the table, which then collapses. AEW and their tables just never work out the first time. It always seems like they just don't know how to set a table up. It fails them. They have to do it several times before they get it right. Swerve heads under the ring for another. No, he doesn't. So he walked around the ring until Nana's like under there. He finally pulls out another table. Swerve sets up this table next to where the other table that they didn't break, that just collapsed because they don't know how to set up a table. Anyway, he rolls Paige into the ring, heads to the top rope. Swerve with a 450 splash, but Paige has knees up. He goaded him in. Nana tries to distract, but Paige sets up for Deadeye. Swerve drops off and sends Paige over the top rope. Paige gets the catch, huge lariat to the other side. Hangman flies for a buckshot. He hits it. Swerve flips inside out. Paige covers, 1, 2, boat, and a kick out boot on the rope. Or Swerve gets his boot on the rope. Paige thinks that Nana put Swerve's boot on the rope, which didn't happen in this scenario. He grabs the chin, sets up for a Deadeye again, hits it. Nana does the Swerve dance. Or Swerve goes outside, so Nana starts Swerve dancing to get Swerve hyped up. So Nana's dancing is like Paul Bear's holding the urn for the Undertaker.
I made that same connection.
The ref is counting 8. Nana keeps dancing. We work. The ref hits 9. Swerve dives in the ring at 10. The crowd rejoices. Paige with a sliding backdrop sends him right back outside. Paige leaves the ring. She grabs a chair shot to Nana. Swerve with a kick. He rolls Paige into the ring. Swerve to the top. He dives with a stomp. Lands hard on the ankle. Swerve grabs Paige, lifts up, rolls through from Paige, and he snaps the ankle. Paige rolls Swerve to the apron. He grabs Swerve. Swerve with the enziguri. Swerve shoves him into the post. He lifts up Paige. Deadeye onto the table. Swerve hopped into that shit. Swerve rolls Paige into the ring. Swerve stomp. Paige moves. Swerve is hurt with his ankle. Paige tries for a buckshot, but no. Swerve ducks under, hooks the legs. A driver, cover, 1, 2, and we get a bell because the time limit draw has gone on. And we reached the 30-minute mark. We went way past the 30-minute mark. And so time limit draw, it's announced. Swerve gets on the mic and says, no, this is not the way this is going to end. We're going to go 5 more minutes. He then tosses the mic to Hangman. Hangman sits there kind of giggling and laughing to himself and suddenly pulls the mic out of his ass somewhere. I don't know where he got a mic. He didn't pick up the mic. Swerve threw at him. He just kind of like, I got a mic, and tells Paige, no, you had to beat me to become the number 1 contender, and now you're not going to get to be the world champion, and it is over. So my thoughts before I pass it off to the floor, this match went way too long. You guys gave us this Texas death match where these guys basically brutalized one another, and then you give us a 30-minute match, which was way too long for a match that we already knew was going to end in some type of controversy. So both of these men could be number 1 contenders, or we could have a 3-way dance against Samoa Joe at Revolution. This match went way too long. It makes Hangman look like the biggest bitch in the company. He looks like a sad booch. Even after the end, when he rolls out of the ring, like, oh, no, you didn't have to beat me. It's like, yeah, but you had to beat him still to get the contendership, so you're no further along than he is. Hangman looked stupid. Swerve looked at least decent. This match just sucked. It just went on too long. And when you have Swerve hitting a buckshot lariat and then the Swerve stomp and you can't get a pin, AEW and these always like hitting their big moves, all these showcases and always kicking out after everything. It just, you're like, okay, then what's the point of a finishing maneuver? Hangman got the worst of this meeting. If anything, Swerve Strickland should have won this match by points. we all knew this is what they were going for. It's going to be a triple threat against Joe. And even before this match ended and it went to the back, even before he had time to let this match simmer, they already had Tony Schiavone on the mic going, oh, Tony told me this was going to be a triple threat match. So instead of letting it simmer and coming back later in the night and making an announcement, or waiting until next week to make the announcement to let this sit and simmer, they killed the whole storyline. This match was it was too long. It didn't do anything for me. It was a spot monkey fest. Hangman looks like a joke the more they let it go on. And I'm sorry, you had a Texas death match that was totally over the top, and then you give me a singles match between these two. If you're not going bigger, and Hangman's still not able to beat Swerve, so, I mean, tell me how he doesn't look like a booch. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on this match?
I agree with you. Went way too long. I just didn't care because we already knew where this was going. And on top of that, with the history between Hangman and Swerve, you would think he'd be angrier. You would think he would want to beat him down. But no, he would rather just stop him. Any way he can just politically stop him from getting to the world title is fine with him. That's what the ending, because he has to beat me, mentality looks to me. And that's what makes him look like a, what.
Oh, he looked like a booch.
I'm not down with it as a character. I don't care if this is the way he's going to be portrayed. Here's the other thing. On top of that, even though Swerve, by definition, is a heel, by the things he does, his actions, he's getting cheered like a face, more or less, because he's getting people's respect. He's putting that work in. What is Hangman doing?
The best part of this match was Nano's dancing, and that's all I can really tell you about that. But yeah, Hangman comes out looking like a booch, even in the end, because it makes no sense. He had to win this match too to become a number one contender. Him not winning and walking out like, ha, I stopped you. It's like, you did nothing for yourself. But then they ruined that all right afterwards because they announced the match like that. And I'm just like, you don't even give this time to breathe. You don't even give this time to settle in. You don't even let people kind of speculate, what they're going to do. I mean, we knew what they were going to do, but I mean, that was stupid. Mr. Z, your thoughts? We have Hangman, New Japan guy, against Swerve.
Tony Khan booking 101 pulls the trigger way too early. It was good for what it was, in my opinion. But like I said in the chat, I was like, why do I feel like I'm watching a rerun of something that's already happened? It just, I didn't see the point in this at all. And then, like you said, sad cowboy runs out of the ring like a 2-year-old crying and saying, hey, you had to beat me. Sounds like someone on the schoolyard that got mad playing Foursquare. So I don't know what else to say.
This was just overall stupid. I mean, Hangman's not, there's been no growth in Hangman. There's been no, I want to kill this man. And this man, again, let's go back to the fact that Ford broke into his house and harassed his baby. I mean, I'd be out for blood. I'm sorry. More than what he got in the death match, which he wound up losing and being choked out and looking like a punk. Hangman has not come.
Noosed. He got hung by his own noose.
And Hangman has done nothing he's done nothing to come back from it. There's no just unstoppable, uncontrollable, just beating the snot out of him. I'm over it. Don't care. Anyways, and then they ruined it, like I said, because it was just like a quickly announcement. And then we go in the back, and here's Samoa Joe. He's backstage while Renee Young's wearing her best hillbilly gym outfit, I guess. She wants the thoughts on the triple threat. Joe says he's excited and elated with sarcasm. This was a draw, yet here we are celebrating mediocrity, which is facts. He's saying you don't want me as champion, but it's not your choice. He's the champion. In that revolution, he will walk out the champion. It's only a shame that they both will have to suffer. And then Joe's kind of right. I mean, why do they deserve a chance? They didn't win. Granted, they didn't lose, but I mean, what did they really do to earn this title shot? Speaking of people who earn title shots, Tony Khan, you're a dumbass. Why? How do you have a title eliminator between Tony Storm and Red Velvet? So Red Velvet qualifies for a eliminator match, meaning if she were to beat Toni Storm, she would get to face the AEW Women's Champion after Revolution, whoever the champion would be. I think last week Red Velvet was on her back. The week before that, Red Velvet's on her back. It's Red Velvet won a match this year. So how does she even qualify? She's not even in the top standings of the women's division. So how does she get an eliminator match to say, what kind of backdoor policies are you playing? Either play your rankings or play creative. You want to mix both of them and you're going to lose it all. You're stupid. You can't tell me that Red Velvet deserves a title eliminator, that she deserves any type of idea to be in contention when she hasn't won a match. Anyways, Toni Storm versus Red Velvet.
Weren't they bringing back the ranking system for all?
They did bring it back, and everybody, and they just combined it. All the two women's titles, everybody in the women's division, you don't know which title they're ranked for. It's just all 4 men's titles have the same 4 or the same 5 top contenders for that. Have you not seen the rankings? Have you not seen them? They're out there. They're posted all over the place. Anyways, Toni Storm versus Red Velvet.
I was gonna say, bro, you got me now. So now I know what to replace this with. I have a sign that says "Who booked this?" So I'll have it here for everyone to see with the point you're getting across right now.
Toni Storm versus Red Velvet. We get some chain wrestling until and of course I can't forget. I got to talk about Wifey because Deonna Purrazzo was out at ringside. She'd sat in the announce corner there, so she was out there first in some weird getup. I don't know what your lady friend there is wearing these days. With the top was not bad, but the weird jogger pants or something. I'm going, okay. Anyways, Red Velvet, Red got some offense in this match. Why? I don't know. She's a jobber to the stars. We have a commercial break in the middle of this. I don't really want to read this because this match went what? Oh, it went 7 minutes and 46 seconds. 7 minutes of my life that went on too long. Wasn't really that great of a match. Toni Storm gets over. And then after the match, Deonna Purrazzo gets in the ring. It looks like her and Toni are going to kiss or make out. I don't know for a minute there. I don't know if Toni was pulling a Joe Biden and sniffing Deonna Purrazzo. I was very confused. I didn't know whether I should be kiss, or yay, I can't wait to see this match at Revolution because you guys have done so much to book her. Because, Deonna Purrazzo is brand new into AEW, and she's already getting a title shot. So, and then on the 15th, that's later in the show. We'll talk about that. We know who's going to come up next. Anyways, and then Luther gets in between and shoves Toni Storm harder than I think he shoved Deonna. He really shoved, Anyways. This match was who cares? Mr. Z, your thoughts on Toni Storm and Red Velvet?
Yeah, it's Red Velvet. Like you said it best, jobber to the stars.
All she does is piss me off. Because then I want some red velvet cake or some red velvet cookies, and I don't have any.
It's just... this whole Toni Storm thing, she just hasn't been booked the way she should, so it never make sense anymore. Comes out, everything goes black and white, and that's all you see the rest of the night. So, but seeing Deonna Purrazzo out there, that was good, but I'm not excited as I should be for this.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Clarke, Wifey was out there tonight. How are you feeling?
I'm not even going to start there. Here's my thing. I see Red Velvet. She's putting that work in, but unfortunately her role is to put other people over right now.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic wrestler.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's not that I'm putting her down. It's just, why should I care?
Right, I gotta understand. Because it was kind of a foregone conclusion because of the way she's been booked, her whole AEW career.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Dark and Elevation, there's the only place that she would get wins. But on TV, yeah. Wifey out there, I was happy. But by the same token, even she's not being booked the way she can be. She was more aggressive in TNA. Face or heel, doesn't matter, the role in that respect. I don't like her creative here. She does little mannerisms that are her, like the, kind of bit. Which is That's the virtuosa. That's her character, whether she's face or heel. But I don't know what it is, but it seems like she's just not as aggressive as she should be. The same way you expect Charlotte to be the queen, Deonna is the virtuosa, and she's not playing that full virtuosa.
Well, she just doesn't come off impressive in anything yet. It's just, and the fact that she's already up at having a title match, and it's just kind of like,
yeah, that doesn't help either.
Yeah. Anyways, and
better talk to the Booker man.
We went backstage with Hillbilly Renee, and she's back there with Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero. And I don't know what we got here. We talked about Ishii and Orange Cassidy defending his title against Ishii, and then them three, and then something about Chuck, and Chuck's in the back getting checked because he's injured, but he's in the back, and they're going to go check on Chuck getting checked on. And yeah, you were just kind of like, what was the point of that waste of time? Is there anything you gentlemen want to add to that segment of like brain fart?
You already know that I'm deeply offended that Rocky Romero is even associated with the friend group. It makes him look like a joke. I put him over every week when he's on TV for New Japan. I put him over at Battle in the Valley. And then they bring him here, and he's with that. Same thing with Ishii. You're making him look like a joke. They deserve better. They really do.
So when Tony Khan makes that big announcement that he signed Okada, are you going to curl up and cry?
Yes. I'll be live on air for it, too. I'll film it. I'll have my wife film it when that happens. And we can put it as a short reel for everybody to see. The disappointment.
Anyways, from there, we got the Blackpool Combat Club and John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Bryan Danielson taking on the CML, NWO, whatever, LWO, the wannabes, the Junior League, the Hot Monkey, Spot Monkey show. I don't know why these guys are here. I know they signed an agreement. They're working partners. Why are they fighting the Blackpool Combat Club? And it gets worse in the end because then it gets even more confusing because I don't. Anyways, Brian and the Hichis to start. Cesaro takes Brian. Cero. Who's Cero? Your notes don't make no sense. Somebody takes down Brian. Oh, Hichisero or Hichisero. I don't know how to pronounce these names, so forgive me. But anyways, Brian goes down. Brian picks the ankle, twists it. And then Cero turns it into it and grabs the ankle. Brian turns it. Cero turns him onto the stomach, rolls through with the bow and arrow. Brian bridges out and rolls away. He's pissed. Brian shoves back and forth. We get a 1-2 Caravet from behind. He locks the arms. Brian 1-2. Brian is super pissed now. Okay. Poor little Brian. Anyways, we get through this match. In the end, I didn't realize I had that much crap in here. Anyways, this match went 14 minutes, 40 seconds. And in the end, Claudio with the low blow, ref turns, and Claudio covers for 1, 2, 3. Blackpool Combat Club comes up on top. Don't know why. This is a spot monkey fest with these CML guys who are not, I think, in Mexico where they are. They look good, but they come here. And you're just kind of like, they lose whatever it is they have. I'm not crapping on these guys completely because I don't know who they all are and what talent they have. I'm assuming they have some stardom to them to be in the position they're being shown in. But when they come in the ring and they look like this, and of course afterwards in Mystico, former Sin Cara and Name Thief, along with some golden doggy head guy and somebody else. Star Kid or whatever, I forget what they called him. They jumped over the ropes and circled down the Blackpool Combat Club like it was an NWO beatdown from 1995, 96 or 97, whatever it would have been. And then Paul Menard and Parker and Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal, was that Matt Sydal came out with them? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So you had Parker and Menard, Christopher Daniels, and Matt Sydal come down to save or help the Blackpool Combat Club to chase off CML guys. And I'm like going,
united as AEW wrestlers. Ooh.
Yes. This is all about AEW, and that's why I'm making the NWO reference, because I'm like, oh, so is this like these are your outside guys trying to invade your company, and then you're telling me that the three biggest stars in wrestling, let alone the Blackpool Combat Club, these three big men, Claudio, John Moxley, and Bryan Danielson, can't take on six guys? Like, really? And they're getting saved by who? The other jobbers to the star, Menard and Parker, and talent relations, Christopher Daniels and Matt Seidel, who's like, what?
So it's no longer the fallen angel, it's talent relations.
Anyways, this is a waste of TV time. I don't know why we need to see these idiots on TV facing these other idiots. It wasn't a very good match. And then the after fact, you're just kind of like, did I really just see those four guys come to save the Blackpool Combat Club? Like, Blackpool Combat Club is supposed to be super badass, and they're being saved by four jabronis that can't get over to save their lives? Tell me when I'm telling lies. Mr. Clarke, the floor is yours.
I don't know if I'd say jabronis, but I get your point. Lesser than.
At least in AEW, that's how they've been presented.
I understand. Like I understand the argument. There was one guy out of the CML crew that actually impressed me a little bit in ring. And that was the bigger dude. I don't know how to say the name either.
Tersikio, her Haichika, Haisiro, I don't know.
But you know who I'm talking about, right?
The black and orange guy. The pumpkin guy.
At least, it's like he looked like he had some idea of what he was doing, despite. I don't know what to say about this match. Like you, I don't know these guys. I know more New Japan stuff than I know CMLL. I know more about AAA than I know about CMLL. Besides the fact that CMLL is it's like the NWA, it's like the longest known promotion in Mexico. That's basically its claim to fame. Yeah. But I don't know the inner workings of the talent or all that stuff outside of people that have worked outside that company. So they had an upwards battle with me just to start with.
Oh, and they've been presented as jobbers. I mean, they've been brought in. Look at these CML stars, but they're losing to everybody on AEW. So, I mean.
Lord, I don't know where to go with this. It's like, this is a match that should have been on Rampage. That's where this should have been slotted.
They shouldn't be facing the Blackpool. Why are they facing the top three members of the Blackpool Combat Club?
They're making this right here look like, black for a better term, shit. So, I mean,
The floor's yours. Go ahead. Continue your thought.
I don't know. It just, first off, I don't understand this whole invasion. Like you said, NWO, LWO, whatever they want to call it. You have Bryan Danielson, who obviously is supposed to be one of their biggest stars. It looks like a mid-carder. Moxley, who was the forefront runner of this, who was two-time champion, three-time champion, looks like a joke. Three-time. Claudio, who's an absolute machine, looks like a joke. I'm not understanding what's going on with these guys.
I think Tony Khan.
The bigger issue actually is the fact that there's no backstory. That's like they're not saying like the announce team isn't telling us anything about these CML stars. Tony Khan's not putting any video packages together. Like, why should we care about these luchadors?
They have a guy there. They have Excalibur. He'd be the knowledgeable one saying something. But he doesn't. He knows more about these guys. He knows more about the New Japan guys. He should be the one breaking down everybody. Instead, they look like nobodies. Everyone's just watching.
I think WWE is doing more for Lucha Libre Wrestling than AEW. And the only thing I can say is I think Tony Khan got jealous that WWE has the LWO, so he's like, okay, watch this. I can get CML out and get my own LWO started. That's what it sounds like to me. Anyways, after that, we go to
even Legado del Fantasma is looking better than CML right now.
Oh, Dragon Lee. I mean, we know where he decided to finally wind up, and look how impressive he looks. And Andrade looks happy to be back home. Can't wait to see more of Andrade.
Yep.
Anyways, from there we went backstage with Chuck Taylor, and he was being chumped by the Undisputed Kingdom. Cool. And then the big announcement. The big announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Khan here, Mr. Hype Man himself, because he's so hyped. This befuddling fool. Yeah, he does look like he had a little bit of, some people are saying he had a little bit of a smirk on his face. Yes, he did look like he was a little overexcited. But anyways, in the worst big announcement again, like everyone else, Tony Khan comes up and tells us AEW is returning to Boston. They're going to be in the TD Gardens.
TD Garden.
TD Garden next month in March, and it's going to be AEW Dynamite. Big business. Yeah, it's going to be important. It's going to be a night that wrestling world is going to remember, but he sucks at putting it out there. He doesn't hype it. I don't even know why he needed to come on TV to hype that. Why not just say, we are going to Boston on March 15th. We're going to have AEW Dynamite Big Business, where Mercedes Moné is going to sign her AEW contract live on air. Something you don't want to miss. This announcement sucked. We know what it's for.
Also, it didn't say. Granted, we know, or we feel like we know because of all the buzz. But he said nothing official besides they're having a show there. Who gives a care?
Well, he says
if you're not going to actually promote Mercedes, this
well,
means nothing.
He says it's going to be a night to remember wrestling. It's going to be the most talked about night. He tried to sell it, but he's a horrible hype man.
You know, the only thing I show my honest opinion for this one is that I remember the so energy that was plastered on the back wall the whole damn night. There was nothing more left for that.
This is a horrible announcement. It didn't do anything. He's horrible at hyping. He needed to let Tony Schiavone announce it in the ring. I mean, why did he need to get on here and make this announcement? If you're not announcing Mercedes Moné, you're announcing the show that we're all going to assume that she's going to show up at, since it's in TD Gardens, it's in Boston, Massachusetts. We know she's from Boston. You're going at Big Business, which is even a horrible name, because I would think, the Night of Money, or, Payday, or, something. AEW, cash in, or, whatever. They could have came up with so many other, but then Big Business. That was lackluster. He sold it lackluster. He didn't hype it. He doesn't make you feel like you need to watch it. I don't know why you wouldn't just go ahead and say, it's the night Mercedes Moné is going to show up and sign her AEW contract officially, Mercedes Moné, and make the big announcement. You would have everybody hyped to talk about what's going forward. You'd have 5 weeks of talk and chatter, instead of everybody sitting here going, yeah, Mercedes Moné is going to show up. You don't have that same hype. People are going to talk about Mercedes. Yeah, she's AEW bound. We'll see her on the 15th. But this way you could say she's elite, and then everybody would talk about what are they going to do with her? Who's going to be her first opponent? What is she going to talk about? And I have a bad feeling her first opponent is probably going to be the winner of the AEW Women's Championship at Revolution.
Jeez.
Who else does she have to go to compete with? Unless you have that, unless Britt Baker's coming back that night. That may be the only thing that helps us out a little bit.
I'm not as mad as you about the term big business, but I'm with you on everything else as far as the delivery. And here's the difference between what they're attempting to do now and what they did with CM Punk before he officially came a part of AEW, is that they made in other people's segments, they made little jokes. They made little Easter eggs that you knew where they were going with it. They're not doing that for her. So why would anyone care?
And I don't think anybody does. I think we got tired of Mercedes Moné. It's just like, get back in the ring. We'll see what you're going to do. And I think we know in AEW, her hype's going to be short-lived.
Yeah.
They brought Saraya in to change the women's division. Short-lived. They brought in Deonna Purrazzo, and look at us already. We're already kind of like, yeah. I mean, there's half of us are like, I think half the people are already assume she's going to win the title. And I think the other half's going, I hope she doesn't win the title. Even though we may not like the Tony Storm character, it's just like, why does she get to come in the door and win the title? And what are you going to do with Mercedes Moné? It'll be short-lived. Look at Adam Copeland. He has fizzled faster than a match. I mean, he went out faster than a match. You strike a match, he just went blah. We're not even seeing him on TV that much more anymore.
That's what scares me. That's what really scares me. What they're gonna do with this man right here. Same thing. He's gonna have a big match, and he's never gonna see it again.
He's gonna have his big match at All In, where he wins the title. Mm-hmm. He'll have his title run, which will keep him hot for a little while, and then he'll fizzle out after it's done because they won't know what to do with him. I mean, look at everybody. Does Kenny Omega feel as important? Is Moxley even as important as he was after his title runs? And they've killed off MJF. MJF, longest running AEW champion. I know he's injured. I know he's recouping, but they're not doing anything to keep him fresh or in some connection. Even WWE is thinking about bringing Punk in to at least start doing commentary or doing other things while he's injured.
Right.
AEW is just...
And they have this man right here scissoring. Not serious at all.
To a second-rate 6-man title match.
Shut up.
Anyways, next match was a total shit show. Also, we got Takeshita versus Chris Jericho, and Takeshita came out doing his best Andrade El Idolo impression with his mask and taking it off like he's something special. Oh, God, this match was deplorable and went on too long. Also, anyways, we start off with shoulder tackle, getting nothing, but Jericho hits a clothesline and sends Takeshita over the top rope. Takeshita sends Jericho back into the ring. Jericho rolls right back out. Takeshita locks the head. Brainbuster outside. Both back in the ring, and Jericho hits a few tackles. Takeshita sends Jericho over the rope. He flies to the top, drops an axe handle. Jericho waits. Takeshita is on his knees. He stands, dodges a bulldog. Takeshita pulls the referee in the way, and Jericho yells at Hobbs, "Here comes Sammy, I don't give a fuck about you, Guevara," out here to even up things for the moment. He smacks Hobbs across the back with a chair, cutter off the steps. He smacks Hobbs' face first. Jericho grabs a demon mask and flies out of the ring onto Takeshita on the outside. We go to commercial break. We are back from break, and Jericho is on the shoulders of Takeshita. He drops Jericho face first, hits the ropes, and kicks Jericho's head into the ropes. Takeshita flies over the top rope and nearly misses. Back in the ring, Takeshita flies over the top rope. Jericho with knees, lion salt, but Takeshita has his knees too. Elbow, Takeshita catches Jericho, rolls up for roll up from Jericho, sloppy bridge, cover 1-2, no. Takeshita gets Jericho up on his shoulders. Takeshita and Jericho fall, deadlift German from Takeshita, saves the spot. Takeshita hits the ropes and walks right into a code breaker for a 1-2, no. Bulldog from Jericho. Jericho tries for a lion salt, but Takeshita kisses him off the ropes and spins Jericho into a nice blue thunder bomb, pin for a 1-2, and no. Takeshita is up. He runs big knees. It's blocked. We get a Judas effect block. Knees from Takeshita. Jericho with a hard slap out of the corner. He sends Takeshita into the corner. He hits some rights. Sits Takeshita up on the top rope. Takeshita drops Jericho face first onto the turnbuckle, and from the top rope, we get another blue thunder bomb for a 1-2, no. This was an avalanche blue thunder bomb at that. It came off the top rope, so it was a little sloppy, but it was there. Takeshita drops the knee pad. He runs forward. Jericho grabs the legs, walls of Jericho. Don Callis runs over or he slides a chair in the ring. Distracts the referee, runs over, plows Jericho in the head with the screwdriver. Takeshita goes for the pin. We get 1-2, no. He kicks out. No, wait, never mind. Don hits the screwdriver, and then Takeshita puts the walls of Jericho on Jericho. The ref's lifting Jericho's arm. Jericho's completely out, but no, at 3, Jericho holds his arm up. And then Takeshita pulls Jericho further in the ring, tightens up to a higher-ended lion tamer, and Jericho taps out, and the ending was lackluster. This match was sloppy. It went 13 minutes and 48 seconds too long. It was a crappy match. It didn't do anything to help Takeshita get over. He looked bad in these spots. And Jericho, and the ending was weird because you had Don Callis stab him in the head with the screwdriver, and then Jericho comes back just to tap out like 2 seconds later. It's not like you changed moves and did something else. You just dragged him and pulled him up a little more, and then Jericho tapped out to his own finisher. And Jericho, to me, is done. Just go away, Jericho. Go back on your cruise ship. Spend the whole year on a cruise ship doing what you do. Go put your Ronald McDonald costume back on. Go sing, I'm loving it. Or whatever it is that you were singing. on your little boat. This was a crappy match. It went on too long. And the way it ended, you're just kind of dumbfounded because it was like, you thought it was over after Don Callis nailed him in the head with the screwdriver. Jericho was completely out, but then he like, no, I'm not out. And you're just like, why? Why? Especially after, like, you just drags him a little forward and he goes, and then Jericho's like, I'm a bitch. Anyways, Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on this match?
I disagree with you a little bit. Not much, but a little bit on your assessment. Because what Chris Jericho calls the Lion Tamer or the Walls of Jericho, I called the Darkness. And
yes.
You may remember what it's like to be in that move legitimately.
Yes.
Back in the day. It ain't fun when you do it right.
Yes.
So when Takeshita pulled up on it, it's like, that's the way he should have done it, which is what got him to tap out.
Yeah.
I think the whole point of getting hit with the screwdriver and then not tapping out at first is give you that little bit of hope spot. And it's like, no, he's still losing.
Hope? I don't have
the booking point.
I don't have any hope for Jericho. Jericho can get off my TV. Jericho can go away, please. Mr. Z,
but,
your comments.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just don't understand.
Let him finish.
That screwdriver spot makes Takeshita, like, he needed the win, I think, because I think we're still trying to build on him, but we keep giving him cheap wins. He needs to get, at some point, he needs to get some, like, clean victories to actually make him look like a badass, not just a chicken shit.
Mr. Z.
Go ahead, Mr. Z.
Your 2 cents.
Give him a win over Jericho? I mean, honestly, is he that selfish? Jericho has to look like an unbeatable force. Ridiculous. Yeah, he needs to go away. Like, please. I wish they could have done this better.
Anyways, from there we got the AEW World Heavyweight Tag Team match. Sting and Darby Allin versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks. It's the main event. It's the story of Sting. And so Darby Allin and Sting attack before the bell. This was a tornado tag street fight. Falls, I don't know, no rules basically is what it turned into. With Sting taking Ricky into the crowd and Darby doing his best against Big Bill. Sting drags Ricky into the crowd and tosses some trash on him. Big Bill and Darby are not far away from them. Sting and Ricky fight up some stairs while Big Bill chops the nipples off of Darby. Hey, okay. Sting is up like... Sting winds up on they're in the entranceway, whatever they call it, and you see Sting on the camera up there like he's Bubba Ray Dudley, watching Big Bill and Ricky Starks beat up Darby Allin. He then sizes him up and leaps off the entranceway up in the upper, on the first levels of the crowd. The archway. He flies off, and then we go to commercial break. We are back. Darby and Ricky are in the ring. Darby dives outside and lands right into the arms of Big Bill, who spins him into what they called a boss man slam. It came off more like Abyss was probably pretty pissed off, into a black hole slam more than the boss man slam. And it looked good. I'll give him that. Bill rolls Darby back in the ring, then drops Sting on the edge of the barricade. Bill enters the ring, grabs Darby, tries for a Baldo bomb, but grabs Darby and just bounces his head off the mat over and over again. He grabs Darby by the head and launches him over the top rope, over the top of his head. He flings him like over his top and halfway across the ring. Big Bill grabs the table and sets it up at ringside. Ricky hops down to help. Bill looks to launch Darby out of the ring onto the table, but here comes Sting to attack. He hits right over and over to both men, clotheslines to Starks. Goozled. He beats down on the chest. Bill turns to tease the crowd. He hits a boot, but Sting moves, and Bill sits on the top rope. Sting pulls the ropes into the balls and looks to end it till Starks grabs Sting by the head and hits a scorpion death drop. Darby breaks the pin at 2. Darby and Ricky go back and forth. Big boot outside, out of the corner from Ricky. Ricky with the moonsault lands on his feet, hurts his ankle. Darby shoots him outside. Sting splashes in the corner. Darby, Sting again. They go back and forth, splashing on Big Bill. Kick to Big Bill. Darby with a code red to Big Bill. Darby to the top rope. Coffin drop on the Big Bill on the outside. Ricky in the ring, misses a drop kick. Scorpion deathlock. Big Bill climbs the apron with Darby on his back. Darby rakes the face and dives onto Big Bill through the table. They both go crashing together through the table, and they are done for the rest of this match. Ricky reaches his ropes, but there's no break because it's a tornado tag. He eventually pulls himself all the way through the ropes that Sting has eventually let go. Starks is in the corner. Sting goes for a dive, but Starks pulls off the top turnbuckle, allowing Sting to splash chest first onto that top turnbuckle. Starks seems to hesitate about hitting a spear, but then finally does it. But Sting comes at it, pounds on his chest. We get another spear. Ricky gets a cover for 1-2. But then he tries for another one, but Sting catches his head. Scorpion jet drop for the cover. 1, 2, 3. We have new tag team champions, Sting and Darby Allin. They are out here. They are celebrating. This was a decent match. It was what it was. Sting did try to kill himself again. It's what you expect in this type of match. The aftermath is probably what everybody's going to talk about because the Young Bucks come out of nowhere in white suits. They beat down Sting and Darby Allin with baseball bats, busting Darby Allin out open at some time, covering their pretty white suits in blood. They hit a BTE trigger on Darby, which we are now known as the EVP trigger. I'm going to be the one of the few who's like, I don't really care because I don't really give two craps about the Young Bucks. The match was okay, but the Young Bucks don't do anything for me. I don't care. If they win these tag team titles back, then, they're playing their EVP role. Whoopie-doo. They haven't done anything to impress me yet. Mr. Z, your thought?
First off, Sting doesn't need to be doing half the things he's doing. He doesn't need to injure himself. I know his bump card's damn near worn out. But I got to give it to him. The old man can still move. He can still take care of business. I'm happy to see them win the tag titles. But the aftermath, it's the only time I've ever seen Young Bucks get me hyped up for a second. It was a legit beatdown. There's no complaints here on that one. Just wondering what the claim them suits would be.
Mr. Clarke.
Since seeing the blood on the white suits for dramatic effect did it for me, I guess. Now, is it the greatest thing in the world? No. It is what it is. But I enjoyed it. As I put it to you guys in the chat, it's the closest thing to a Bullet Club beatdown we've seen in AEW. Period, really.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had Jay White do it. They haven't had anyone else who could be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the Young Bucks are former Bullet Club, so what the hey? There's your association. It was more theatrics than impressiveness. But I'm somewhat interested to see which route they're going to go at Revolution. Do they put obviously they put the tag titles on Darby and Sting already, but do they keep the tag titles on them for that match? Or does Sting go out on his back in the way old school tradition goes to help, the business in theory? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm more interested in seeing. Which way are they going to go with it?
No, it'll be interesting to see what they're going to go with it. I'm just not a Young Buck fan, so anything they do, until they do something to really impress me. Tonight they came out, they did their thing, but I'm not they're not getting me hyped. I'm like, if they're winning these tag team titles, because Sting should probably lose the title. Again, of course, he could come out the night after the Dynamite, after the pay-per-view, and then vacate the title. And we could get a tag team title tournament, which I think would be the best thing for Tony, because then he could rebuild the tag team division in AEW, give it some hype, give it some flavor, maybe even make the last match. I know many people probably be pissed off, but why not go back to FTR and the Young Bucks in this era? Make FTR feel important again instead of running around with Daniel Garcia, chasing around the House of Black, where it's pretty clear that two members of House of Black are just dying to wait out their contracts and get back to one wants to get back to his mommy, and the other one wants to get back to, well, I guess that would be his mommy too. I don't know. We'd have to see. But so, I mean, it's like maybe the best thing is to have Sting and Darby Allin beat the Young Bucks. But again, the Young Bucks just coming back with this new gimmick, this new venture. You've got to keep the heat on them. How they take a loss as a team, they can take a loss. But if you have this new storyline and they're doing something, I don't know how, you got to be real careful how they may take a loss. Because I think vacating, and maybe it comes to a draw. Maybe they beat each other up. It's a double count out, and then you could strip the titles with Sting retiring. You can still vacate the titles or something. I don't know. I think the titles need to be vacated. I think you need to set up a tag team tournament going into the May pay-per-view, which should be Double or Nothing. And then you can have a tag team championship match there. But I think you can bring in, you can put some of the CMLL guys in this tag team tournament. You can bring some New Japan. I mean, I'm talking a big 16-man or 16 tag team. So what would that be? 32-man tag team tournament. I'm talking a big tag team tournament that's really going to take a while. Not the tournament we just saw, but a true bracket tournament. Winners go on.
Single elimination tournament.
Yes. But I mean, bring in 16 of the best teams in the world that you can get, hype this up, make it last a while, and build it towards that pay-per-view. This is how you can rebuild your tag team. Having Sting and Darby Allin lose to the Young Bucks are the AEW World Champions. You're like, cool, whatever. They got the titles back, yay. But who really do they have for the Young Bucks to face next? That's not just, yeah.
And the thing is, Tony loves his tournaments, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that.
I want a big one though. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, first off, every time Tia and FTR, poor Cornette, you can hear him falling out of his chair. Yeah, I'm all for it. If like you said, I mean, if you want to do it right. The right way, single elimination, let it be the all-nighter, or let it span up until the up until the pay-per-view. Something.
That's what I'm saying, because you're going to have several weeks before the Double or Nothing. So that's why I'm saying it needs to be a 16-man tag tournament. It doesn't need to have a match on every show, but you extend it out and you give us. And you build each one of these teams. Give us a little video package on each of these teams as they come into the tournament. Who are they? Why are they here? I don't care if it's the young. I don't care if it's the Guns. We know who they are. It can be best friends. But they all need to have a video package to hype them up of why they're in this tournament and why they feel important. You can take 2 of the CML guys, hype them up a little bit, put them in there. Get a couple guys from New Japan. You can do something with the Gates of Agony, rebuilding them. There's so many elements that you could bring in here with a big 16 team tournament. I mean, huge.
And like you said, give them a backstory. You have Excalibur, you have Kevin Kelly, you have guys that have knowledge of men if they did it right.
And if you need someone who can translate, you also have Alex Abrahamis.
Yes.
Thank you. The big thing, men on this roster, on your staff, that can hype these guys up and get us excited for something.
Well, a 1 to 2 minute video package is all you have to do. Is before the matches, when one team's coming out, before they come out, you put up their video package. It tells us the story about it. When the other team's about to come out, you put that 1 to 2 minute hype package on who they are. Even if we should know who they are, even if it's FTR, rehype FTR. Even if it's the Young Bucks, rehype the Young Bucks with their new storyline. But if you get 16 teams, make this big. Not an 8 team, not a 4 team, not just, a goal. Let's bring these guys together. It needs to feel important. It needs to feel like every team is in here important. Not only is this going to help make your tag team division feel good, it's going to make your tag team titles feel more important than they were before. And this is the best way to save your tag team. I need a big, and Tony Khan's all about tournaments. He has set himself up to have a perfect opportunity for a really big, long tournament that people can invest in and get excited about if he does it correctly. But we're talking about TK.
And here's the thing. You should be able to be taking notes from WWE. All the characters that we know, they still do video packages for now.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone people we don't have backstory for.
Oh, look how big they make the
desk. You do that to hype between the music, between just the little bit of hype that you can put in a video package to say, okay, this is why you should pay attention to what's coming up right now.
Yep.
It's not hard.
I mean, my perfect example of a video package before a match, the global title, the new belt in New Japan. They gave a backstory of why that belt's there now. They showed Finley destroying the other two belts.
Yep.
Well, and the perfect example from WWE would be their Dusty Cup. Look at how they make every team in the Dusty Cup feel important. You don't look at the Dusty Cup and go, "Oh, that's a jobber team that's going to lose." You don't really know because they've made every team in there feel important. Even if it's a makeshift team like Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, they make sure all those teams have some importance.
Who won, by the way?
Yes, who won the last Dusty tournament? So. But I mean, I think Tony Khan.
I just brought up your first ever tag team that won that tournament was Samoa Joe and Finn Balor.
Yes,
Samoa
yes.
Joe's gone. So, damn, man.
So if Tony Khan wants to do something special, he could have Sting and Darby retain the titles, then vacate them, and then create a 16-man tournament. And hell, even if the Young Bucks want to use this as something in their storyline, like, okay, well, the titles are vacant. We're the EVPs. We're going to create this tournament. Even if they come with some way to make this tournament where like they set it up where it's like they're going to have all the easy teams, but everybody else is fake. As long as they build storyline to it, give us backstories on each of these teams, but make it big. I'm not talking like, it's over in 2 weeks. Like give me 16 different teams. Give me New Japan. Give me CMLL. Give me somebody maybe I guess you can bring in the Turbo Dustbusters, the Beverly Brothers of the new era, whatever they're called,
Oh, okay, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting their names, but yeah, I know.
Turbo and Taint or Turbo Tainted or whatever. Nitro and Glycerine. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, you can bring teams in. I mean, hell, another opportunity to put the United Kingdom out there in a way too. But give me 16 teams. Give me a tournament that lasts from April till the end of May. You can build that because you're going to come out of that pay-per-view. Then you give it a week to kind of, you strip the titles. And then on that big business night, when you're going to have Mercedes Monday, you also announce your big announcement. You're going to have this huge tag team tournament to find the next tag team. The champions will be crowned. The last two teams will face each other at Double or Nothing. And you're going to have excitement and people drawn in to see this as long as you bring in. It just can't be small. It can't be quick. And it's got to be some, teams. And give us backstories to them. Even if we already know who the Guns are or the Best Friends or FTR, give us a story behind each and every one of them just to give them hype. Make this tournament feel special.
A reason to draw a house.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I brought in earlier in the chat was draw a house. Because apparently I just seen a picture of tonight's show. Not a very big house.
Well, it was a little under, I think, 5,100. I don't know. It'll be impressive to see what they do. They're going into TD Gardens, which is a pretty big house. So we'll have to see what they do there. And that's why I was saying, if you're going to...
Easter eggs.
I don't know why you didn't announce Mercedes Moné. Instead of why wouldn't you just say we're going to TD Gardens? We're going to have big business. Mercedes Moné is going to sign her AEW contract. Then you'd have everybody there. You'd have people going, cool, Mercedes Moné is coming into AEW. We can finally see it. Right, let's go.
She can sell out the house. She's done it.
So, and that's what they should be.
Because of her name alone.
That's what they should be banking on.
Thank you.
I mean, why not just say it? I mean, honestly, that's what they could have banked it. They could have put they would have had a button in every one of those seats by simply saying that instead of leaving it out there. Yes, we know they'll probably still sell a good show, but I don't know if the hype is going to be that great. And then we're,
big business and say the CEO will be there, and that would change the game right there.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony Khan failed at even hyping the big business. Like he just didn't feel it. He just was like, he was like that little kid who was like, I did it. And you're going to find out that I did it, but you got to wait. Yeah. I mean, that's what he came off to me. It wasn't even like he was hyping this big thing. He just felt like that little kid that he always comes off as, like this little nerdy freak in the basement playing on Evolve Wrestling on his keyboard and playing with his win. Did I book a good show? Yes, you booked a good show, Tony. Good show.
Oh, can't wait to look at Twitter in a minute. Looking for that pat on the back. That
Tony Khan wishes he could be a member of DIY.
Oh.
Anyways, I thought this show was.
That mean.
Yeah. I thought the show was just kind of overall boring. I don't think there was any great matches in there. I mean, the tag team match and the ending, I think for some people is probably what's going to save it. If you're a Young Bucks fan or you're into the history of the Young Bucks, I think you guys get a little more enjoyable out of it. Me, I'm like, I don't even care about the Young Bucks or them coming in down and beating down Sting and Darby Allin. It's just like, kind of expected it, but hey, here we are. But overall, it was just kind of a boring show. There wasn't really a lot of these matches were not good tonight. These people just didn't mesh real well. I mean, Takeshita almost looks like he was going to break Jericho's neck in that one move where he stumbled forward and had Jericho under him, and it was just like, oh. And then you had Moxley, you had the Blackpool Combat Club against the Flying Monkey Show, and you're just like, nah, this doesn't make sense. Mr. Z, what are your final statement for tonight's show?
Tony, we know you're watching. I hope you took notes.
Mr. Clarke, your final thoughts.
First of all, if Tony was taking notes, he'd be watching WWE right now with the work Triple H has been doing and their team. But as much as I've loved AEW in the past, right now I'm looking more forward to tomorrow night's press conference, WrestleMania press conference.
Yes. So we will be watching that tomorrow, and as soon as that's over, at least me and Mr. Clarke will be here to cover it. I don't know if Mr. Z will be here, but we will be here as a team to cover this in one form or another. We're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about it. It's either going to be good hype, bad hype, or it's going to be one of those other storylines that we just don't know where it's ending. A lot of those storylines is it a work shoot, or is it shoot work, or is it a work? Everybody stands in their way. Hey, people are saying they shot themselves into a work, they screwed up, and now they're trying to work it. Some are saying it was a work, and then it turned into a shoot to go back to a work, and some people are just saying we're getting really worked over in all of this. I don't know. I don't know how this all plays apart. I don't know why we can't get Roman and Brock on night 1 and Cody and Roman on night 2. I know that hurt Seth Rollins, but again, with Seth Rollins hurt, we don't expect a 5-star main event match. So to cover up his vulnerability, he doesn't necessarily need to be in the main event of this WrestleMania. And that doesn't take away anything from Seth Rollins. I love Seth Rollins, but I know he's hurt. So to me, it's like, he's not going to be able to give that main event match. He'll probably go out there and try, no doubt about it, but why risk it and getting him any more hurt? I think if you have him in a squash match at the beginning of the show, which is sad because I don't want to see that, but something where, even if it's true, if it's Damian Priest or anybody, I mean, there's a lot of people there that could take out Seth, and Seth is still going to have a great moment in WrestleMania, but we know where he is. So, I mean, we're not going to get Seth and CM Punk right now. So why not just give us Roman Reigns, Rock walking out as the Universal Champion?
No.
Rumors and speculation are saying he's pushing for it. So I mean, you can't take it.
You've already seen how this is biting him in the ass. I mean, I
don't know. People are saying it's biting him in the butt. The story we have right now is biting him in the butt. But are we being worked? Is there more to it that we don't know yet? So is it really biting him in the butt, or are they getting one over on us? If they're not getting one over on us, this is biting him in the butt big time. And I don't think he thought his daughter was going to get dragged in the middle of this. No, but
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That was rough. That I was pissed about that too.
I don't know. Because I have a hard time. I can see The Rock going, I want this match. The stories keep kind of shifting that they promised him this match back on January 3rd when he was coming in, when they were first initiating this conversation for him to join the board of directors. January 3rd seems to be the date. They said, hey, we'll give you the match with Roman, or that was what he wanted. But then it doesn't make sense to still have Cody win the Royal Rumble if you already promised The Rock that match. Now, if you have the upper echelon not talking to the creative team, then you can kind of make sense of that, but there's so many variables to this one. And the way that Cody's been made over, and they're talking about the We Want Cody chants, they're talking, they're letting the Rocky Sucks chants happen. I don't know. I know people out here, oh, don't be fooled. You're not being worked. It's a shoot that they're trying to work into work. But I'm like, you're telling me The Rock is that dumb to just come in and go, I want this match. This is what's going to save WrestleMania. I'm going to be the thing. I don't know if The Rock's really that person. I don't know if I can buy into all of that. And I may be wrong. Rock may be just this egotistical SOBs is like, I should be champion. I'm coming in and winning this title. I'm going to take this company to new heights. I don't know. It may be true. Tomorrow night, I don't know if we're even going to find out tomorrow night all the pieces to the puzzle still. We may get what we...
all the pieces. I'm expecting just a little bit further. Something more than what we got on Raw.
I was going to say real quick, did you guys see what happened at NXT where the production team had to come and tell the fans to calm down?
Well, but that's a little different. That's a little different. Yeah. They were saying F Carmelo on live TV, and that means they have to blip it out. And that crowd at NXT's arena is rambunctious, and they're good at what they do. So I can understand when they got to come in and go, okay, guys, we don't care what you chant, but let's take the FU out of that conversation. Because
it was like ECW all over again. I was like, oh my God, I missed it.
But it's going to ruin the show if they got to sit there and go, beep, Carmelo, beep, Carmelo, beep, you're losing a lot of that other stuff if you're holding that button. And then Carmelo Hayes couldn't even set his promo, which was freaking excellent. I mean, Carmelo is a star. That promo last night pushed him to the next level. I'm excited for him and what's come forward. But I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're getting down on WWE and the directing team and all these people coming out going, hey. But I mean, like, they were using pretty strong explicitive that you can't use on TV.
I had no problem with that. I was like, damn, it got to that point where production was like, hey, y'all need to stop.
But that means they're doing something right. They got enough heat on this guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how the fans were that angry. Yes. But again, that explicitive, you have to kind of go, okay, guys, we're on live TV. You can't use that word, or we're going to have to sit here, beep, beep, and it's just going to ruin the rest of it.
This isn't the network anymore. We're actually on a network television station.
Right.
Yes.
Now, to circle back to the whole thing with The Rock and, this whole thing. The one silver lining is the fact that we're talking about it, the fact that we don't know what's a work, what's a shoot, it's like the fact that we're talking, I think, is the biggest point that's good about this.
No, this is how you do business, Tony Khan. The WWE's got everybody talking. They've got people ready for a press conference on a Thursday. This is not even a wrestling show. They're going to have a bazillion viewers. They got people flying out there paying $500 to be able to sit in the press conference and be there.
What's funny, and I've seen it. Several NFL players tweeted, we're in Vegas. We're going to check this out.
Well, I'm not surprised because we know WWE is going to be at the Super Bowl. We know they're going to hand the title. WWE is going to have some stars that we're going to see them at the Rumble. It is the Super Bowl in Vegas. That's why they're doing the press conference there. It's going to be busy. It's going to be hype. There's plenty of people in town for that. They're going to grab an extra base of fans. They're going to have The Rock there, which is going to drag in a whole different echelon of people because there'll be people who are just going to show up with The Rock. Just as much as we know the Kansas City Swifties are going to win on Sunday because the NFL can't afford them not to win. I'm sorry. Taylor Swift has such a huge following. You do not think, I'm telling you. Tell me when
he didn't just say that. The Kansas City Swifties? Really?
Yes. Well, you have the Houston, Texas Strouds.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you see me on air week after the Super Bowl with tears, you understand why Big Time wasn't telling lies.
I'm just saying, Taylor Swift's such a huge star, and she's got those followers who just do whatever it is. She can say, buy this, do that, and they just do it. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL's ratings have gone up with her on TV just because she's there. There's people that are going to watch Kansas City Chiefs just because she's a fan. So as long as Kelsey doesn't screw that up, it'll be okay. But if the NFL's rigged, I tell you what, wait until you start seeing bad calls against the Niners that set up Kansas City to win points. Now, I want the Niners to win, no doubt about it. But I don't know if for the NFL, for its population, for its fans, and for the people and the money they want to draw in. I think they want to see Taylor Swift down there celebrating with Kelsey and the Chiefs, and they're going to have that big moment. So, I mean, I'm not trying to break balls. I want to see the Niners win. Honestly, I think they deserve it. I think Brock Purdy is one of the best quarterbacks that's underrated, and he's shown that he has this. The Niners have worked really hard to get here. They fought through the Packers and the Lions in some intense games. They're here. I think it's their time, but something tells me I think Kansas City's going to come out, and I think it's going to be through some dirty,
always wins.
Through some dirty stuff. But the Super Bowl's in Vegas. WWE is going to cash in on that. They're going to be there. The Rock is going to be here. So The Rock's going to drag in a whole... The Rock has that same polarity as Taylor Swift. People who write The Rock for his movies and don't know what he did in WWE, they're drawn to him. The Rock can say whatever. He could sell ice to an Eskimo and they're going to buy it. I mean, you know...
Yep.
He could be down. He's going to be down there in Vegas selling sweaters for, WrestleMania with his name on it, or the new head of the table sweaters, in 80-degree weather in the Las Vegas desert. So I mean, there's just some of those people that come around in this world that just have this influence, whether it's the right influence, whether it's the wrong influence, or just people that follow people just because they are who they are. And Taylor Swift and Dwayne The Rock Johnson are two of those names that, they're going to draw a crowd. So WWE is going to be there. It's going to be huge. Tony, you got to get hype. And I don't know why you wouldn't announce Mercedes Moné now and get it over with. Because then you would get the chatter of what are they going to do. Not like, oh, it's going to be Mercedes. I think you're already killing that momentum. And if you don't build up that momentum, if you don't hype it, and you didn't hype it, then people aren't going to care.
No hype and no Easter eggs.
No.
That's where he's going wrong.
His hype today, it just fell flat. You're just like, hey, okay, we know Mercedes Moné is coming, but he didn't get you excited. He just acted like the little kid, like, I got it. I'm going to do it. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us. This is the Value Wrestling. This is your AEW Dynamite review for February 7th, 2024. This is your post-show review show. We've talked about everything we can talk about AEW. We're getting hyped. Me and Mr. Clarke will be back Friday with your SmackDown review. We'll be back tomorrow night with the press conference Fallout. We will discuss everything that came out of that. And, of course, then we'll be back Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to give you a weekly roundup, and hopefully get done before it's time to tick off, because I know somebody will be itching sitting here in the studio going nuts waiting to get to the game, because it's Super Bowl Sunday this Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a big date in history, and we'll find out. So if you watch the New Japan Rebound podcast later on Tuesday of next week and you see this man in tears, or he just doesn't, or he pulls or if he pulls a little Tony Khan and is not as hyped as he should be, you'll kind of understand why. I'm just saying. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. We're going to call it a night. But until next time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.